So, after talking about zero indexing, we're going to move on to iteration. So in general, what is iteration? It's a process where a set of instructions is repeated until some condition is met. In the context of arrays in JavaScript, it's going to look something like this. Here we have num_array with 6 elements in it. We iterate over the array, let's say add 1. First element, 2. We're going to add 1 to it, it'll become 3. We then move to the next one. 4, add 1, we'll get 5. 6, we'll add 1, get 7. Each iteration is adding 1 to each element of the array. So essentially, for every element in the array, do this thing. Now in JavaScript, arrays are what are referred to as an iterable. It is something that can be iterated over. Other data types are not. So, let's see why iteration is useful. What I'm going to do here with these console logs is access each element of the array. So we have num_array at 0, which will be 2, and we're going to times that by 10. Num_array at index 1, which is 4, we're going to times that by 10, which is 40. As we run the code, and there we go, we have them all logged out. However, this is 6 lines of code. If we were going to do more than simply console log each element of the array out, it's going to take a lot more code. If the array is longer than 6 elements, it's going to take a lot more code. So I'm just going to comment that out. And we're going to iterate over the array and essentially do the same thing. We're going to use what's called a for loop. For let index equals 0. Index is less than num_array dot length. With this length property we went over on the previous video, 0 indexing, and index plus plus. So what's happening here? We're essentially creating a variable that can be increased in size. We're giving an end condition. So index always has to be less than num_array.length. In this case it'll be 6. Index plus plus. Each time this code runs, index will increase by 1. So the first time it goes through, it'll be 0. After that, at the end of that, it will be increased to 1. So on the second iteration, index will equal 1. Now, index less than num_array.length. In this case, num_array.length will be 6. What this means is, once index equals 5, the for loop will cease. Since we started at 0, each element will be hit by the time it gets to 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our end condition. So, console log num_array at position index multiplied by 10. So what we're doing here is we're saying on the first iteration num_array at index 0, which will be 2, console log that number times by 10. Is this a greater than 6? Is index greater than 6? No. Okay, so add 1. So then we've got index will be equal to 1. Index is less than 6. Run the code, add 1. So on and so forth. So I'm going to run the for loop again. As you can see, we get logged out to the console the same set of integers that we got when running this. So as you can see, this is much more efficient, it's quicker, it's less code, but also, without writing much more code, we can simply add to the array. We get every element of the array, console logged out, multiplied by 10. As you can see, adding those items to that array was a lot faster than typing out all the console logs. As you get more advanced in code, you'll see why for loops are important, because when you're taking data from incoming from a source, it's not necessarily going to be the same size each time. You're not going to necessarily know, so having a for loop to go in there and just iterate over the amount of elements in said array is a lot more efficient than anticipating every single situation and writing out code to meet every single situation. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Later on we'll be moving on to more things that are prevalent in the world of JavaScript arrays. So make sure you check those out, and I'll see you later.